very excited to share with you all a game that we created at Nanakuli High School called The Depressing Game. So before we go into that, we're going to talk a little bit about us and about our class structure. Then I'm going to go through the development cycle of The Depressing Game, and then I'm going to pass the mic over to Jack and Caitlin, and they're actually going to run a game the Depressing Game is specifically tailored for this presentation. Okay, so I am Jeff Vierra. Jeff, I guess I define myself as a super geek, and not a nerd. Nerds don't get married. I'm somehow married. I don't know how that happens. But really, a geek to me is someone that's just really passionate to the level of obsession about something. And I'm very, very passionate about software development for good, and game design.
All right, I'm Alika. I'm an artist, so I guess
you're eating art.
I mean, yeah. So my picture is that because I'm always snacking in class. So that's me. So I do this with Jeff at Nanakuli High School, and basically I'm an art geek. So he's a gaming geek. I'm an art geek, and together we make all of this.
Geek kingdom.
So I'm Jack. I'm a senior for Nanakuli High Intermediate, and this is my third year spending time with the two rascals over there. It's been a blast.
I'm Caitlin, a junior at Nanakuli, and this is my second year with these peoples.
It's all coming out. So a little bit about the way our class is structured. So first and foremost, we make games, and these are some of the benefits for making games in your classroom: critical thinking, deconstructing and reconstructing themes, and designing through iteration. All the games that we make, 100% of the games that we create is based on place-based education. So what that means is that all the games that we create in the community, for the community and of the community. The games that we create are relevant to issues that are facing the community that we're in at Nanakuli. So they kind of align, and I call this kind of the Triforce of Wisdom. If you guys know what Legend of Zelda is, it's kind of like our trilogy here. And then everything we do in class. So the way that we make games is we are a play-based classroom. You guys familiar with play-based? I know it's a buzzword now, and it's kind of like the new gamification. You know, like 5 years ago, everyone's like, use gamification in your classroom. Now it's like the play-based model. Play-based learning, basically the way I define play-based learning is rather than put away your toys and learn, you go get your toys and start to learn. That's kind of the play-based model, right? And it's fun. Okay, so the Depressing Game. So every year we do two projects, and the first project's the student's project. So that, they can use it to my project management style. So this was their game. This is, they had full reins on what they wanted to make. Like we're just mentors, essentially, for the first project. The second project, we kind of have an idea of what we want them to make. So it was the Depressing Game, and from the box, the Depressing Game is a social deduction game where players take on the role of high school students who have to deal with depression on a daily basis. So very kind of somber, serious, and we were very surprised when they brought up that this was the topic that they wanted to uncover. Because we're like, space aliens in the community?
Yeah, we're thinking something like, oh, it's going to be a battle game or something like some cutesy game, but no, it's ended up being a really deep subject.
Yep. So I included the development cycle in here, and this is something normally I would present at a game development conference, but what I wanted to do this time for Schools of the Future is show you how we made the game So I included the development cycle because, yeah, again, I just really wanted you guys to kind of see what it takes and how easy it is to make a game, which can be translated into projects or in the office or whatnot. So we began with the theme, okay? And there's this, in the game development world, there's this controversial subject of, do we start with mechanics or do we start with theme? I like to start with theme. Theme gives you your problem statement, or like what your game is trying to accomplish. Theme is also your setting. Theme defines who the players are. That's the theme. Theme is the goals. How does the player win? How does the player lose? That's your theme. So the theme for the depressing game, as you can see, here's some photos of us kind of brainstorming in our class. The theme is that you are managing your emotion. You're a teenager. The game takes place in one day in high school. And the goal is to just get through a day while managing all the emotions that come in and out of your brain in high school. So that was kind of the theme. Okay? So next is mechanics. And to explore the mechanics and to kind of get some ideas of what kind of mechanics we could use, we have access to about a little under 3,000, something like that, games.
Yeah.
So this
All his.
my wife made me put this in here. So this is the entrance to my room. As you can see, that second picture there. That is from the floor. Well, some of that's in storage now, but anyway. So that is our library of mechanics that we can borrow ideas from. Early on, we decided two things. One is we wanted the game to be fast. So last year's presentation that we did was on a game called Huli, and the actual game Huli is this 3-hour saga about healing the community through meaningful action. So we wanted to do something completely different, fast, 10-minute game over like this, but the message is still there. So how we did that is we adopted a mechanic called simultaneous action selection. Does anybody know what that means? Any game designers here? Junk in a pole, right? So we stand around in a circle, we put our hand behind us, rock, paper, scissors. I don't know what that is. Rock, paper, scissors. One player is then eliminated, the game continues. It's dynamite?
Yeah.
Is dynamite free? It's like anyway, sorry. Where were we? Simultaneous action selection. So in a traditional game, Monopoly, whatever, Chronos, whatever game that you're playing, the model is a player takes their turn and they do their actions, and then the next player takes their turn. So we did simultaneous action selection. Second thing we wanted was it being a social deduction game. Okay, so social deduction game generally means that the players are given a role at the beginning of the game. That role is hidden, and then through deduction, you try to figure out what other players are. Okay, so that was kind of the mechanics that really kind of made it a depressing game, right? We also had we should acknowledge him. We also have a secret weapon in our class. Who's not here today, Justice.
Oh.
Justice, one of our students, is just this. He's a math hammer. So he was able to kind of calculate and find the perfect means of this number series that just balanced our game completely, right?
Okay, so for the art for this, it was actually really fun through the process of it, because I asked the kids first, the students, I asked them basically what makes you happy and what makes you sad, and to varying degrees. And so we just got a whole list, and that was me in the first picture, getting the whole list of what makes everybody happy, what makes everybody sad. And I compiled that list and found themes, common themes and everything. And then we all went through the concept art of what art would look like in this game, and what do you want it to look like, and what is the most accurate depiction of how you guys feel. So the third picture there is an image of Friends, which was basically one of the things that made everybody happy. That was just a common thing, of course, right? Nobody likes to be lonely and not having any friends at all. So that was the biggest one, and putting everything together, that's them actually playing in our class. So now that group is immortalized forever in a game, which is so cool. And then then we just, I wanted to keep the focus of the art on the students and not so much everything else. So I kept everything else very simple, relaxing.
So all the card art is them.
Yeah.
So every card either has, whether it's a happy or sad card, sad emotion, excuse me, it's their specific happy moment and sad moment. And there's a sorry.
No.
There's a range of 1 to 5, right? So, and take a little bit of Jack's thunder here, because he's going to go into this. But a 1 emotion, not too bad. 5 emotion is overwhelming.
Yeah.
Right?
So exactly as you said, all the art you'll see in the game is actually them, which I think is
Not us.
Yeah.
You didn't ask us.
No,
But
we don't have to be sure. No, that's us. The role cards. Happy and sad. So yeah, it's just really simple, really fun, and I made all of this in case you're wondering, any digital artists out there, Good Studio Paint. Yeah.
is the program that he used,
Yeah.
which is interesting. So it's a Microsoft. It's a Windows based. Is there a Mac version?
Yep, Mac version, and it's on iPad too, so you can
Yeah.
jump on it.
Yep. Okay. All right. And then finally, play testing. So let me go back in time for a second. So normally, play testing. Whenever we do these projects, we try to test assumptions of what you should be doing when you're creating a game. So normally, play testing would be right after mechanics, so somewhere between. I'm not gonna do that. Yeah. Somewhere between mechanics and art would be the play testing. And the reason why you would do that is you're testing your mechanics, right? So you play test first internally, that's called an alpha test, and then you take that game externally, or you take the product externally, the program or software externally, and then you get the public's opinion on that, or you get feedback. And then you change your mechanics, or you change your core code, or whatever it is, right? But we were so confident in our game that we left play testing in the end of the game. And yeah, it actually worked out. We did a play test / demo session at this year, 2019 SpyCon? 2018?
2018.
No, it was summer, right? 2019 SpyCon. And it's actually really cool because for them to see, I think it was the first time you guys, Jack, Caitlin, and everyone else, got to kind of get feedback outside, right? And there's teenagers playing it, and there are like these really somber moments where they're like looking at this card like, wow, this happens to me. I can relate to that. And it was just like this really like somber moments of, oh, okay, cool. And again, point of this game is to kind of like laugh at these things, but also as like a lens to explore these topics. They're very kind of safe, and games can do this so well, is subjects that would be very uncomfortable to talk about. You can make a game about it, and then through playing the game, explore that landscape. So yeah, our play test went very, very well. You guys think?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Ready?
Shoot. Okay.
All right.
Okay, so time for the more fun and interesting part of the session. Okay. But to reinstate the theme, the main theme of both the life-size version that you're gonna either be seeing or participating in, and the main version is that you're a high school student going back and dealing with a normal day, trying to manage all of your emotions throughout that school day. So, as you could see, we will restrict the room to specific areas because in this version, we're gonna have 2 different teams to represent 2 different sides of the brain. So I'm just gonna walk mostly over here. So basically, this side of the room is gonna be the more logical, best, creative side, and it's gonna win against the other team. Well, the logic of the brain, basically. And I will need 5 volunteers. 1, 2, please come up. Please come up. Yep.
That's what that's for.
Ma'am, could you please come up?
All right. We need 2 more. Anyone? Not painful at all. Thank you.
And here you go.
All right,
Took my
Caitlin,
word.
get back.
Okay.
Yeah,
Bro.
here we go.
Okay. I'll be representing the right side of the brain, the creative side, the fun side. Okay. Yeah, he took my word. Okay. I need 5 people too. So come.
I want them. I like it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I'm not shy. I gotta play.
Don't let them see.
All right.
You can show your teammates, but just don't let them see.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
kind of forgot to
nee.
tell this to you guys. You could show your cards to each other,
Come here. Okay.
but not to the audience, okay? Or to the other team.
Here you go. One more
Need
for
one
the
more?
creative side. Yeah. Thank you.
Yes. I don't know. I'm kind of feeling the creative side here. I don't know what it
You
is.
feeling us, right?
Just saying.
It's
Just
obviously
saying.
my side.
Okay. You have happy and sad cards if you look at them. But the happy cards are represented by the light background and the happy mask. And the sad cards have darker backgrounds and the sad mask. The numbers represent the level of emotional intensity. And for my card over there, my 1 is just touching a cat on the, like, a stray cat.
And the side card over here, this number 5 represents me because I want to join the military, and I'm not afraid of fighting for my country. I'm more afraid of losing touch with my homeland and losing touch with my friends and family and probably hurting them as a result.
So that's him and his mom. His mom's right there, so you can kind of see, like, yeah, the illustration. Very, very cool. All right.
Okay, so here's a brief overview of how the game is going to be working. So at the beginning of each school day, there's going to be 5 different school days all rounds. And so each team will send out a representative that will be that active emotion to the arena of thought. The arena of thought is these 2 middle chairs. Basically, they will sit down and be ready to reveal their card. And once each representative is ready, we will all count down from 3 to 1 and scream out happy. Once everybody screams out happy, the 2 reps will reveal their cards. The winner is determined by the highest number. So 5 beats a 1, 2 beats a 1, so on and so forth. But if it's the same number, like a 5 and a 5, they both cancel out. Before anybody moves, each player will be given the mic and be asked to create a story with a maximum of 1 minute determined by that emotion. How to determine that is by your number. So like a 1 is me stepping on the cockroach, a 5 is me organizing a protest. Basically, the sky is your limit to these stories. Maximum limit is 1 minute. And the winner is basically, the winner is able to go back to their team. The loser will have to go back to the audience.
So the loser returns.
The winner returns back to their team as a express emotion, and the loser go back to the audience as a suppressed emotion.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You got it. You got it. You got it. You got it. All right. Ready?
Give me the heart on this.
I knew you can handle it. All right. Here we go. Round 1.
Teams, choose a player.
It does not have to be your biggest number.
So first round, kind of random, right? First round. So just a quick note. Just remember now, whoever wins goes back to their team. So if you can kind of remember what number they are, you'll know who's coming back. So you can't change cards with each other. You're holding on to your card, right? So you can kind of, and you both. So all of you have 1 through 5 on each side. The only difference is the number of happy and sad cards you have.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Each team selects a player. Jack, to the arena of thought.
So sit down, please.
Yeah, and you kind of look at each other.
Okay, just winner has the higher number, but if you guys both have the same number, then you guys both lose.
We both go back to the audience, or we just lose?
Okay,
Yeah,
if
you
you
both
both
go back
lose,
to
go
the
back to the audience.
The loser leaves the game.
Yeah, who reveals first? Right or left?
On the count of 3,
On the count of 3, so
you guys will
Ready?
say happy and reveal.
1,
2,
3.
happy! Wow, they came out swinging. Wait. Okay, guys. They revealed their hand. So that was an interesting play.
Nice.
5 revealed.
Okay.
All right. All right.
So who goes first? Winner, huh?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay. So please tell us a story of a 5-level depressing.
And that card, by the way, is isolation.
Yes.
Isolation. Does this have to be a true story?
No.
It could be. It could be. It could be made up.
So it's a true story. And I spent 3 years in Nicaragua, which is one of the poorest countries in the Western Hemisphere. I was volunteering in the Peace Corps teaching sexual and reproductive health in Spanish and working on gender inequality and teaching about women's rights in a country that does not believe in women's rights. And you face all this poverty, and you face all of these difficult times. And your friends are booing you up because you're there with other Americans. You're not close to them, but they're around, and you meet with them. But then you come back to the richest country in the world, and you see all these problems, and no one seems to be listening or paying attention. It feels like this.
I got chicken skin, man. Wow.
My level of 4 is my oldest child moving away, and me. Look, I'm still crying. Moved away, and my whole life changed because I knew I was moving into a different form
Next stage.
of life. Yeah.
Next stage. You got this.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oh, guys.
All right.
Okay, so
Caleb, thank you. Thank you.
round 2. So the beginning of the round is basically the same thing. Each pair selects a representative and send them to the arena of doubt. It could be the same guy if you guys
So just remember,
want to.
Nicaragua 5, right? Nicaragua 5.
I just have to keep going?
We have to lose one.
If,
You just need to hope that they don't pull the 5 off.
yeah,
Okay, well.
but right now
Okay,
you're
there
winning
we go.
because they
All right.
lost their 4.
Wait, you can play again?
Yeah.
If you win.
But then now you. So remember, same numbers cancel out. So both players lose, right?
So you're sending out an assassin.
Yeah. So if the 5 is sitting there, you can give up your 5 now,
Or you can
right? Or you can play a 1, for example, right?
But if you play 1, 2, 3, 4.
You're gonna lose this round, right? But you're holding on to your 5, right? But you're holding on. So it just depends. So either like he mentioned, you can send an assassin, right, to go out and cancel the 5, and hold your 5 back. Yeah. So strategize among yourselves. See, the artsy guys. I like this.
The greatest idea was the
There we go.
What should we do, guys? Do our team. Should we
Yeah.
sacrifice or should we like
Slaughter them?
yeah.
Yeah, because it's
Wow.
progress started was pretty awesome.
You guys, we're gonna pitch the 5.
That was
You
a lot.
guys are all for assassinate. Give us a 5.
I think
Me too.
I think that's what's happening.
If you guys want to sacrifice, give us a 5.
Okay.
Assassinated is.
Assassinate.
Okay. Maybe that was a ruse. We'll see. Okay.
3.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. Happy. Are those 5s? Ah. All right. Okay. So why don't you start? We'll have her start with the 5, and then we'll get another amazing story from our Nicaraguan friend.
Let's see, I guess my happy would be my wedding day and having all my family come to Hawaii from the mainland to celebrate.
Awesome.
So I was working at Waikoloa Elementary and Middle School, and I had just moved to the Big Island, and I'd been there 1 year, but I couldn't teach there a second year because the other science teacher was a gym teacher, and she got put on administrative leave for yanking a kid. So they couldn't put me in her spot, and so I had to leave this place that I'd just been in for a year. I just started setting down roots, and they're like, well, we're not going to hire you anywhere except for maybe Waianae. And I was like, what's Waianae? And they're like, you don't know? And I was like, no. And they're like, then go to Waianae. And so I spent 2 years at Waianae teaching in the I building, and I was teaching physics and career technical education. And I didn't feel like I had a lot of common with the people there, and I was struggling to integrate with members of the school. And I kind of started to feel like this because, again, it was me in this zone of outside of my comfort, and I didn't understand the people and they didn't understand me. It was really difficult.
Wow. Thank you again. Wow. All right.
It's not to sit across from him and speak.
Okay, so both of you, both of you are out. All right, so we're back to no numbers. Yep. So we're back to where we're at. Okay. Go ahead, your life.
Oh, choose your player.
Okay, so same sequence again. You're going to choose our player. I like how the logic side is just like, yep, I'm up. And then the writer is just kind of like, okay, hold on. What does this feel like? Okay, all right. So count of 3 again. 1, 2, 3. Happy! Wow. What is the other one? What is the other one? Oh, okay, all right.
4 level happy story.
Yeah, sure. In college, I had someone requested that I host a student who came to the campus, and he was blind, born blind, had a terrific talent for music, had perfect pitch, and he'd always come to campus before he actually attended the school, and he attended to attend the concerts, whatever we were hosting there, and I would be his host, his guide. And he would always want to sit in the same seat every time, and it was the front row, right in the middle, where he could cheer the loudest, and after every pretty much break in the music, would give a standing ovation. That's just descriptive of his level of excitement, and that's what that made me think of.
Awesome.
So this one is a really cool picture with like math on the back and pretty sad, frustrated, and yeah, I could relate to you for sure. Like I didn't learn math until I was like maybe like early 20s, and I started baking, and then like if you put too much flour in, like you got the math wrong because bread tells you so, right? So but all through school, super frustrated with like math and not really getting it, and like feeling frustrated, just kind of low level, just grind, yeah.
So 4 returns.
All right.
Yep.
That's okay. Go crazy.
Thank you. All right. Okay. So around. Oh, you guys are already ready. Whoa. All right.
Nothing changed.
Okay. Yep. So round 4 again. So you can see some awesome art there.
Do you want to be in tribute?
How's everyone feeling? Yeah. We'll do it before 5.
3, 2, 1.
Happy!
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, we'll go with.
So happy took it.
No, it's tied.
Oh, wow! It's up to you, man.
We all know what numbers left.
Wow.
We all know what's coming.
So I tell a story about this?
Yes.
Okay. So this shows a guy reading and learning.
That would be him. That would be Jack. Gas information into his mind. Sorry.
And it made me think of the first time I really learned to love reading, which was when I was in 4th grade and I picked up Harry Potter. And I just remember being totally transported to this other magical world. And it really kind of opened my mind up to just like the magic in everyday life.
Okay, so I guess I have a clarifying question. Does it have to do with a picture, or can it just be
Nope.
any 3-level sadness?
Yes, 3-level sadness.
Okay, so I guess my 3-level sadness is it really hurts me. I used to teach math. I love math. But at one point in time, I had an administrator share with me that, maybe I should kind of cut a kid a break on kind of passing, because he was almost gonna like 41-40 out, and the goal was to keep him in school, right? And that if we could do more to keep him in school, that would be, in the big scheme of things, probably what was in his best interest. but that's not what we're taught to do necessarily as teachers, so it was a real kind of moral dilemma for me. But I've taken that with me wherever I go, because math is so hard for so many people, and I always want to make it better. So it's just sad to keep going.
You can do a motion check.
How's everybody feeling right now? What's the emotions of the room?
Is it reflecting what side's winning, maybe?
Shall look like you're being
Yeah.
it's an open discussion.
Stoic. Perfectly balanced.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
All right.
This is the kind of vibe that happens. This is the kind of stuff that goes on in the minds of teenagers every day, all day.
Yep.
Okay?
Okay,
Ready for
yep.
Last round. 3, 2, 1.
Happy! Yeah, that's what he was saying, man. He's
Okay.
got the.
All right.
Maybe we just change the rules for the last round. No.
So this is my first year as a teacher, and I'm teaching, part of what I'm teaching is elementary coding and robotics. And so our school is a K through 12 school. And every day when I go to lunch, the kindergartners are always there first. And I always hear some of them saying, Mr. Robot Man, sit with us. And so that's my level 2 happiness, just
That is
little thing in the
awesome.
middle of the day.
That's so amazing. That's so awesome.
Level 1 happiness. This is literally a picture of me figuring out how this game works, and even though I know I'm gonna lose, I figured out the chain.
All right. So congratulations. Logic won the day. Thank you. Okay. So that's our presentation. Thank you so much for participating in this experiment. Can we get a round of applause just for them? Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. Any questions you guys got? Anything we left out? Yep.
Could we duplicate me?
Yes, it is possible. So it's $10, $8? $10. It's $10. So if you just Google the depressing game, huh?
Google the depressing.
Yeah, so you just Google the depressing game. It'll go to the Game Crafter, which if you guys want to do something like this in your classroom, Game Crafter will actually publish the game for you guys. The Game Crafter, you can download these templates and put your art assets. Really, really cool. You don't have to send your art assets to China and then get 50,000 copies. You can print off one of games. So yeah, if you just Google the depressing game, it's right up there. Hi.
How much work do the students do with regards to the art?
Oh, so the students, I asked them all to make concept art. So This is our resident student artist. Very awesome. So
so a lot of that.
There you go. So all the students, I asked them to draw concept art for me so I could get a feel of what they wanted themselves to be portrayed as. Like how did they look when they felt a certain way?
Yeah, that's a really good question.
Yeah.
And again, my background is I've worked in the gaming industry, and then I also work as a corporate programmer, a software developer. So a lot of what I bring to class is real world, working with an artist, right? And at the same time, you want your voice to be in this product, right? So there's this level of compromise that happens. So and that's exactly what happened. They would actually kind of draw these things out, and then you would work, and you would check in, right? You would kind of check in with them. How does this look? They're like, I think my lips are not that big. Okay, right? And then kind of. Right.
Yeah, there were a couple concepts that I came out with and nobody knew what it was, and I was like, oh, okay, well, I spent 3 hours on it, but it's all good.
Yeah, well, and then also just kind of tack on. So this is kind of templated out, but really, art happened throughout the cycle. Yeah, it began in the beginning, right? And then also because art just takes the longest to do. So it kind of happened throughout the entire thing, right?
Yeah, and I'm kind of an organic type of development person. He's very task oriented, so it's like, you know, he's like, all right, we got this done. We got this done. It's like, I don't feel it.
Got the time frame. Let's go.
It doesn't feel good. Yeah.
Pretty much.
It's like, okay, you gotta put it out there, you know.
I got a question.
Oh, yeah.
I got a question for you guys. So when you play the game, how does it play out? Do you see students in a different light? Like, you know, when you coming through on these emotions, you've got different levels of emotion. Does it, you know, how does it play out for you guys? How do you feel about it? Like, oh, she really is human. You know what I mean? Like, things like that.
Well, the group that the cards are based off of, like, we kind of know each other well. But it was cool seeing like what really upsets them and what makes them happy. So we got to like get a little bit closer.
I would think so, yeah.
And it really just shows how much we may assume that we know, but that we still don't know.
Great. Nice. Thanks, guys.
Yes.
Can you just recap a little bit at the beginning again? Because I'm thinking, you know, in terms of students who, you know, may currently have mental health concerns, like, how would this affect them, or how would maybe their treatment providers feel about them following through with this?
So
Yeah, I was just good.
Yeah,
Please.
So basically, through disclosure, I am special ed. I mean, not look like it, but I am special ed. And I know where you're coming from as like a teacher and as thinking about the whole legal ramifications of it. But I still recommend having special ed kids, even if they have mental issues, play this game. Because it doesn't only, it will show them, oh yeah, all kids are affected by this. You're not alone. You're not just that psycho kid or that outcast kid. And with this game, that's at least my hope. It's like this game could at least connect to special ed kids and be that like shield. Oh, do you want to play? So they could actually talk with regular kids. Yeah.
More of a left brain question, but in terms of mechanics, what's to stop a team from just playing their highest number each time and then never losing?
Right. So, well, you had a 5 on your side, and they had a 5 on their side, right? So once you reveal your 5, you basically have to kind of send out the 5 to cancel, or give up a couple of numbers and then start winning with the 5, right? Does that make sense?
Kind of. So like
Yeah.
the 5, whoever has the 5 could go up every time?
Yes. So the second 5 can. So once you reveal your 5, everyone knows that you're the, you know, I'll say queen because I think there's more women in the room. Queen of, right? So, so you can maybe feed a 1 and then, you know, okay, if they bring their 5 out, maybe give your 1 up and then bring your 5 back out to cancel that 5, to take that 5 out of the game if the 5 is the first number played. The other thing is this version that we created is just for this. The actual game is very, very different. Like I mentioned in the presentation, there's hidden roles. So like you're like either a happy or a sad. So there's one sad player and everyone else is happy. And you're trying to figure out through cards, because there's cards and there's like a tableau of cards in the middle. And you're trying to figure out who's the sad player among us, because we're like all these thoughts kind of swirling around in the brain. And then like a social deduction game, it's your tells that give up who you are, right? Like a really good game of poker. So kind of like reading everyone and, you know, kind of like nagging, like, oh, you seem pretty happy. Why do I seem happy? You know, right? So the card game, there's 20 cards, right? And then there's a different number series between both sides. But that was kind of the idea, was that we would, and again, it's supposed to be like a 5-minute game as well. So we wanted this really, 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 really quick. And the idea was that if we gave the same numbers on both sides, and if the numbers tie, the 5 can take out the other tyrant 5, essentially. Okay, any other questions? Hi.
So, are you a teacher in a public school? You do a gaming class? How do you present it?
I am super crazy. So, so this is an after-school class. So I am from the West Coast. I'm from Makaha, and I had this amazing opportunity, I think 6 years ago, from the PALS organization to go out and kind of give back and start making games, with the coast that I love. So it's an after-school program that happens Wednesdays and Fridays. Yes. Yeah. Okay, any other questions? Any questions for these guys? Yeah, hi.
Because you have a sort of rank order of emotions, does that help the participants recognize some people are very reactive to small things? So does this help them better understand relatively where their emotions, based on the context? Because everybody feels things differently.
Absolutely,
right? So
absolutely.
Does it, do kids take away from that? Oh, maybe I'm being overreactive, or maybe I'm being underreactive.
I don't know, what do you guys think?
Okay. So the game plays itself essentially, but the whole meat of the game is basically those interactions with each other. In the core game, it's more so that's your reactions to having a 1. But in this version, it's more that's your reaction for stomping on a cockroach. This game could be played in a number of ways, but it's only up to whoever's playing it to decide that.
So another way to look at this, and this is something that I hear, because I do a lot of game design talks, is the difference between simulation and gameplay, right? So if it's a simulation, then it's emulating all the things of the symptom specifically, right? And you're just kind of exploring the landscape and getting kind of a deeper understanding of the topic. None of us are qualified to do that for this game. So what we did was we tried to just have this game be a conversation about emotions, right? And then the numbers between 1 and 5, that's the game part of the game that allows us to have some kind of mechanic in place to where it's not just completely random and there's some strategy in the game itself. And then we tied that to levels of emotion, right? So like when you play a 5, that's what the 5 kind of means. Me personally, I'm just a 1 and 5 all the time. It's either off or yeah. But yeah, does that kind of answer your question? Yeah. Okay. Thank you. All right.
One more question?
One more question? Yep.
Do kids normally tell true stories or made up?
So the stories that we mostly encounter were either true or based off of true events. A lot of kids, even if they're trying to make up something, they're making up off of fact. So a lot of your creativity and imaginary thoughts come from your history. So like, say you go fishing and that's your only way of life, then most of your concept is gonna be about fishing than like building houses and stuff like that.
Yeah, so it took 4 months? How long? Like 3-4 months? So everything was kind of like iterated out. That's my crazy logic part. But we would just sit and just talk story. Like we just sit down and just like, all right, and Jack, what kind of thing? As everyone's sitting down, like fidgeting, so let's talk about what is a 1, sad emotion to you, and then Jack will start talking. I was like, wow.
It's a lot of the material was based off of the maybe 15 to 20 minute talk story before actual class, where I would just watch the kids and how they behave and what they talk about and what emotional level they're at, and that'll help fuel how I draw them and how I portray them as well.
And mechanics and end goal, everything, right? And so we would just kind of like just sit down, phones away, and just talk story, right? Kind of absorb. Yeah.
So
this is like a platform for the children to be able to talk story with each other.
100,000%.
At their level, because you know we're all adults. We
Mhm.
got different emotional levels from them.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
this is their emotional level.
Yep.
From 1 to 5. Yeah, you know, because they're not gonna know how I feel about
Mhm.
my child moving away, but they're gonna know how it feels they move away. You know,
Yep.
that kind of emotional.
Yeah, so the idea is that you're becoming a teenager for a day and kind of wrestling, right? But I mean, but like vicariously surviving a day of school, and like, yeah, you're gonna survive, but how do you manage all these emotions and people coming up to you, hey, why are you wearing that for? You know, or
Yeah.
you know, and then
Remember that.
dealing
Those
with that.
things, yeah.
Have that
those things.
perspective on life at that age.
Well, they still do as adults.
Yeah.
I just want to ask, did you folks ever have a negative feedback from the kids? When it was just too much and they didn't want to hear?
That was probably the only negative feedback we ever got, was if you just said no.
Well, I don't know. The only feedback that we got was from an adult at Hawaii Con that was playing it, and she is clinically diagnosed with depression.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
So
that's right.
She was
I should have put that in here. Yeah.
And we didn't know this, but she was playing it, and she was just like, "This is so relatable. Like, I can understand this, and I know exactly what this feels like." And without hearing the stories behind the actual
Yeah, she just looked at the cards, right?
Yeah.
Remember? She's just looking through the cards, like, oh.
So, and she knows how it all feels. So that's the feedback I got from, you know, as far as how it could impact somebody's emotional state. That's the most.
So I hang out with super geeky and nerd. Remember, nerd, not married, geek, married, right? And you know, we played it with them. Yeah. Need to draw a line in the sand. No, so I brought it up to my friends and had them test it, and you know, for them, a lot of it was unrelatable, and I was like, all right, I know this game works, you know, and that was kind of like they were like, what? Shouldn't there be a character and somehow advance? No. Okay, perfect. This game works. Fantastic. Yeah, but honestly, yeah, we haven't really got. And we asked around and play tested a great bit, and yeah, and also, actually, the only negative feedback maybe is the first time you play the game is really getting the mechanics, right? But game ends like this, and you're like, wait a minute, okay, one more time. I got it now, right? So that's kind of maybe the only, because we want it so short, right?
Yeah.
I did play a version of this game with my nephews. My nephews are 8, 5, and maybe 6, around there. And the most negative feedbacks I got from them was, hey, is this the reason why my classmate is like this? And I'm like,
really?
Okay.
Wow. All right. Any more? Oh, yep.
Hi, I'm Carla. I'm his mom. And when he first came home, at the time, his cousin was also playing, was also in the class. He graduated last year. And he told me, oh, Mom, we created a depression game. And I said, wait, what? You're doing what? And, you know, as the both of them were talking to me, I was like, I went to my nephew. My nephew, just to say it outward, was suicidal. We didn't see it. No one saw it. Not even as close as he is to his cousin did he see it. He ended up in the psych ward at Kekela. And when he told me that he was part of this game, I said, is it all right with you? Is it okay? He said, it's kind of teaching me how to be more open so I don't keep everything in. If he can trust his friends, that. And so when I went to him and I said, and how about you? Because he also has depression problems. I said, how about you? And he said, no, Mom, it's a good way of getting things out. And I said, if it's okay with you guys, then fine. But it's a good way because teenagers don't know how to communicate.
Mhm.
And things like teenage suicide is
It's
so
really-
heavy.
yeah.
And it's heavy here in Hawaii too. And when it hits home like that, you're so taken by it. And you don't see it coming. So if this game helps prevent even one teenager, then
Mom, coming in there.
All right. Any other questions before they kick us out of the room? Okay, thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it. Thank you.